Stephen A., you ready to give Cousins some credit?
Hell no, not at all. A part of it is the fact that this little winning streak that you're on, this 4-game winning streak that you're on after being called out, conveniently you've beaten the Giants, bad defense, Philadelphia Eagles, horrendous secondary, Detroit Lions, different animal, but they've had to deal with some things, and of course the hapless, woeful Washington Redskins. So first of all, when you start playing against real competition, I'll give you more credit. Secondly, I would forewarn everybody right now. Kirk Cousins is having, when you look at his numbers right now and the way that they're winning, if you just looked at the numbers and ignored the competition, if you just looked at the numbers, he's having an MVP caliber season. The man's thrown 13 touchdowns, just 3 interceptions. He's passed for nearly 2,000 yards. He's completing 72% of his passes, and he's a 6-2 record. I like Kirk Cousins. I've met him. I've talked to him in the past. He did our show when he was with the Redskins, and we took the show on the road for training camp. He's an incredibly nice guy, don't get me wrong. But let's remember what teammates have said about him in the past. He's a guy that will get his numbers. He is a guy that will show you, he will look good. But when it really, really counts, can you count on him? The answer historically has been an emphatic no. And so now that he's doing this, he's going to be in the eye of the storm because you're 6-2. Stephon Diggs is looking like an all-world receiver over the past 3 weeks since he was supposedly ready to get traded. All of this stuff has happened, and now Kirk Cousins has looked great against suspect competition, to be kind. As the second half of the season arrives, let's see what we see from him then. And when he goes against stiffer competition, if he performs this way, then I'll give him credit. Until then, I'm going to be redundant. Hell no.
I think you have to give him credit. Since Thielen called him out, he's been much better. And I agree with you, Stephen A. He's having an MDC caliber season. Most Dalvin Cook. I mean, like, let's face it, what's going on is they're running their excellent running back early in games. That's setting up play action. And since he's done that, like when Goff had Gurley, he looked like a great quarterback. Turns out he's okay. He's, better than average probably. Kirk Cousins is a middle-of-the-pack kind of quarterback. And when he can run play action with a guy who's really special, then he looks pretty good. But give it to him. Because under the right circumstances, he does look pretty good. Ultimately, does anyone believe that the Vikings, who top to bottom have the most talent in that division, are going to make noise in the playoffs? No. And why don't we believe it? By the way, I agree with you. Kirk Cousins seems like a very nice guy. We don't believe it because we don't believe in Kirk Cousins under pressure. As I always say, a lot of those stats, though, he's been winning recently. If you watched him closely, are empty calorie. You need 8 yards for a first down. He gives you 6 and you're punting. He gets his stats, but the team doesn't succeed. They're succeeding right now, so you must give him credit, but that's the extent.
Well, listen, here's the deal. When you look at the Minnesota Vikings, you can give them credit before you give Kirk Cousins credit because you can hold Kirk Cousins' history against him. But when you look at the ingredients of most successful teams, what do you have? You have a playoff-ready defense, and you have a running game. Dalvin Cook is special. Excellent doesn't begin to describe him. This brother is special. He can run that football. He's averaging over 5 yards a carry. I think it's 5.3 to be exact. He is incredibly impressive. And Zimmer's the kind of coach that will give him the ball all day long. And so when you look at it from that perspective, if I got a defense that can stop people and I have an offense that can move the chains, give the defense the requisite rest it needs, while at the same time put enough points for the defense to have faith in you and to be energized about going out there instead of being demoralized like the Chicago Bears having a whole player-only meetings because they really want to say our quarterback stinks, but we can't really say that because that's not apropos, okay? Then it's a different ball game. The Minnesota Vikings have a running game. They have a defense, and the combination of the two things make them a threat to anybody. Not the favorite, a threat.
Yeah, but for Kirk Cousins in particular, it is Dalvin Cook. It is the run, especially early in the game. Because once you have to respect that, now play action is open, and that's how he's racking up all these numbers. And look, and they're winning. It's really about Dalvin Cook, who's easily the MVP of the team so far.
Tough division. Vikings are second, 1 game behind the Packers. They face Kansas City next. Thank you so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN Plus.